I just woke up and it's like 9:30. I was up several times last night going to the bathroom. I had way too much to drink. I'm hoping that calms down. I've heard that calms down if you're actually staying hydrated. Um, I don't know if I'm super exhausted because I was up all night or if I'm super exhausted because I didn't eat a whole lot yesterday. I don't know if it's just that um, I'm not used to that little calories and I'm just like super exhausted. I don't have any energy. It's probably a combination of both, honestly. But now I need to figure out something to eat for breakfast. And I'm deciding between scrambled eggs and another shake. One is easier than the other. No, they're not. They're the same. I'll figure it out. I decided to go with a smoothie. I did it this morning without any protein powder in it. I wanted to just taste what it tasted like if it doesn't have all that vanilla in it and stuff. I can taste the spinach a lot better in it today. It's not like overpowering, but I can taste like a hint of something green in it. I think because the fruit that I'm using is not super strong. It's a couple of peach slices and like a mango slice and a couple strawberries. So it's not overpowering, but it is much fruitier than yesterday's, and it doesn't quite taste like a friggin' birthday cake. So I think that's what I'm going with this morning. Okay, so my Premier Protein just came in the mail. I've been waiting like a week and a half. I'm so excited. It's ridiculous. I was just explaining to my boyfriend that I don't get anything really fun on this pre-op diet, but these flavors are fun, and therefore I'm really excited about it. They also have, this was new, I hadn't seen before, they've got this clear protein drink. So it's basically like protein water. I think it's, yeah, tropical punch flavor. So I'm interested to see if I'll like that. I don't think I'm allowed to have it on the clear liquid phase though, because I'm pretty sure I read something that said no protein waters, which is sad. But otherwise, and this wonderful display is thanks to my boyfriend. I decided to do some breakfast for lunch. Eggs sounded really good. So I sauteed up some spinach and some of these tomatoes. I had salvaged what was left of a avocado, and then just quickly fried up some eggs to go with it. Day two, I had a lot going on and I was still pretty tired, so I wanted to keep dinner pretty simple. I just fried up a chicken breast in some coconut oil with some salt and pepper, and then had an entire bag of steamed vegetables on the side. It wasn't really very fancy. It was pretty plain, but it was actually really satisfying and just got the job done. So I'm going to go with something easy this morning. And a flavor I've been wanting to try of Premier Protein. Their oats with maple. It's got some extra fiber because of the oats, I think. And I don't really feel like making a smoothie this morning, so I'm not going to. Okay, what is this, day 3? I'm already losing track. So 3 days in, and I am noticing that it's a little bit harder than I thought it would be. And I'm not, I thought I could eat like no carbs without too much of a problem, and I knew that I'd miss certain things, but I just started realizing how many of the recipes I make are rice based, or that I have light bread with it and stuff, and I don't have any of those options anymore at all. I'm having to continually tell myself that it's not about cravings, it's not about food that I want to eat, it's about fueling my body with what it needs and moving on with my day. And I am hoping that this is just a very beginning part of this, because I 100% am just like focused on food right now. Like, what do I eat? What do I want within the confines of what I can have? And that is not the way to go about this. So I'm trying to take it a little bit slower. I'm trying to remind myself that a lot of people have to do
2-3 weeks of a pure liquid diet before their surgery. So although I have to do a pre-op diet for 8 weeks, at least I have the option of eating solid food and like real food. I just have to be a little creative about it. So I am putting together recipe ideas, pulling ideas from like some paleo websites, because this is just like a slightly modified version of paleo as far as I can tell, and just getting ideas for food that I can eat that will be satisfying and nourishing. And that's the thing that I've heard several people talk about. You can eat until you're full and you're satiated, but it doesn't mean you're satisfied. And that's a mental thing that I am realizing now is an actual problem, because I'm not satisfied with my 2 cups of jello that I had yesterday, because it wasn't what I wanted and what satisfied my sweet tooth, but it was perfectly fine for what I needed. So I have to get over that mental hurdle. So today I'm just taking it a little easy, and I heated up some leftover soup. It's got a wonderful little cozy. Oh, how cute. And I'm just going to eat some of my soup today. I had the Premier Protein for breakfast, so I'm just trying to get to the point where I'm okay with the basics. And I think for dinners, if I can be a little bit creative and put some things together that are within my abilities but are not just chicken breasts and steamed vegetables, then I'll get through this just fine. But I mean, the soup is delicious. I was just going through a phase yesterday where I was like, I don't really want to eat the soup 2 days in a row. Too bad. That's what you have, and it's good tasting, and you could certainly be eating worse things during this pre-op diet than this really delicious vegetable soup. So that's where I'm at today. I am glad that I'm on vacation. I had actually taken 2 weeks off of work just because it's 2020 and I needed a break, and it happened to coincide with the start of my pre-op diet. So I've been very grateful that I've had the last few days where I don't have to really deal with anything else, and I can just kind of process what I'm doing and how I'm feeling, and easing into this diet while being at home and having the ability to like, oh, I need to make, another bowl of soup or something. I'm not just stuck at work with whatever I brought with me. So that's how I'm feeling on day 3. So hopefully, since I've got 53 more days of this, that it will ease up. But I have sort of talked to myself today and been like, hey, you've got it pretty easy. It's just a change in diet, but it's not like you can't eat things. So chill out, take a breath, eat your soup, move on. Okay, so it's about 2:30 and I started getting hungry again. I ate lunch around 11:45, 12 o'clock, so I am just had 1 bowl of the soup. I thought about getting a second bowl of soup, but then I remembered we had bought some shrimp at Costco and we haven't opened it yet. So I'm gonna have a few shrimp, see if I can tide myself over until I make some dinner. For dinner, I whipped up a chicken curry recipe, pretty similar to what I would do on a normal basis, except I didn't put any potatoes or sweet potatoes in it that I usually do. This is just a little bit of coconut milk, chicken, some peppers, onions. I like to top mine with tofu. I put this on a bed of spinach and added some cauliflower rice on the side. This was one of my first times having cauliflower rice. It really wasn't bad. It definitely bulked up the meal, but it is just not rice, so it was kind of bittersweet. Yay, I had something that kind of had the same texture, and it made the meal kind of rounded out, but it just was not the rice that I always crave. I'm absolutely exhausted. I stayed up too late last night, like 2 a.m. or something. In a combination of just, like, I've noticed when I wake up at 6:50, which is when my alarm goes off,
and I have to go take care of the animals. I am so hungry when I wake up, and I'm not used to being hungry in the morning, really, like not right away. And so the combination of being extremely exhausted and really hungry has been a very good motivator for me to just go back to sleep. And so I keep going back to sleep in the morning. Now it's 10 a.m. I'm still really tired, but I'm up. So another really quick breakfast this morning. So I'm gonna have the Premier Protein, the blueberry oats one. I've been wanting to try this flavor, so I guess that works. Doesn't really matter. I mean, I'm allowed to have a Premier Protein instead of making my own protein shake, but I was gonna experiment with some flavors with my own, and I just haven't had any of the desire to do anything in the morning.
For lunch, I had leftover chicken curry. I didn't get any footage of it, but trust me, it pretty much looked the same. I just didn't have any leftover tofu. I had a little bit of a smaller portion for the leftovers and just ate that up for lunch. My boyfriend smoked a turkey breast for probably about 4 hours, and so for dinner we got to have this absolutely delicious smoked turkey. I also made cauliflower mashed potatoes, cauliflower mash, more accurately. It is surprisingly good. Boy, does it look like mashed potatoes for sure. It does have a vegetable-y taste. It's not a starchy potato for sure, but I was actually impressed with how decent it was as a substitute. I also made some paleo gravy to go with this, and it was surprisingly good, but I did make a mistake. I used tapioca flour for the thickener, and it's also known as tapioca starch because it's a starch, and I am not supposed to be having anything starchy. Although it wasn't very much, and so I'm not really too worried about it, I won't be using this recipe again. In the future, there are a couple different ways that I might be able to make gravy that closer aligns with the pre-op diet. One of which is to boil vegetables and then blend them up to use as a thickening agent along with your stock or your drippings. Or what I'm probably going to try next is just using xanthan gum as the thickener because it's not starchy. So we'll have to see how that turns out next time. That next morning, I decided I wanted something a little bit more substantial for breakfast, so I scrambled up a couple of eggs, cut up a few of the peppers in the fridge, and added some of the cubed smoked turkey from the night before. It was absolutely delicious, super yummy, super filling. It actually stuck with me for quite a long time, and I didn't get hungry until late in the afternoon. So I just ended up having a pumpkin spice Premier Protein for lunch. So it was a pretty simple, filling morning for me. For dinner, we baked up some tilapia fillets with a side of broccoli and some salad. I prepared the tilapia pretty much the same way I have been preparing it for years. I put a very small amount of light mayonnaise and a whole bunch of dill inside of it. I just spread that on top and bake the fish for 15-20 minutes. It's super fast and it's really, really delicious. It's kind of like a substitute for tartar sauce, only in my opinion, much better. When it comes to the salad, I did buy the sweet kale salad from Costco. I haven't met anybody who doesn't know that salad. It's pretty infamous. It is absolutely delicious, but the dressing is just, it has too much sugar for what I'm allowed to have. So I took the mix and I put 2 tablespoons of the Panera at home poppy seed dressing. That is a very light, fat free dressing. It does have a couple of grams of added sugar, so in the future, I'm actually going to avoid using that, and I've picked up some sugar free dressings to try, just to try to limit the amount of added sugars that I am consuming, since that is one of the main goals of the pre op diet.
Okay, so I'm going for something a little different this morning. I'm going to try a peanut butter and jelly smoothie. So I'm going to add a tablespoon of this mixed nut butter that we got at Costco. And I've got some, what is this? Mixed berries and cherries that I got at Safeway. And live and learn, I have switched over to almond milk. So reading through the soy milk, it has a lot more protein, but it has a lot more carbs and sugar in it. And I thought soy milk would be fine, and I have a lot of it. We have a lot of shelf stable stuff that we got from Costco, and I decided, since there's, no sugar in almond milk, and um, it seemed like the better choice, that I'm gonna live and learn and just move over. So I bought some almond milk to go in my smoothies, and we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Okay, well, I was gonna say, here's my beautiful purple smoothie, except it's really not beautiful. I wonder if it's the nut butter. It's probably both the spinach and the nut butter that made it look like a really gross, like, I don't know, 'tis the season, right? It's a spooky purple. It's good. I don't know how much of the nut butter I'm getting. I'm thinking I'm getting enough of it that I can taste a hint of nut butter in addition to the berries. It's also a lot waterier. Is that the almond milk that's making a difference? It can't be. I don't know. Anyway.
For lunch, I just had another bowl of the vegetable soup that I had prepared on day one. This was lunch. I did not get footage of it. I promise you, I did not have a glass of wine for lunch. This is just prior footage of the same bowl of soup. I'm not that desperate. Don't worry. I was really excited about this dinner in particular because I was pretty sure I could pull it off within the confines of the pre-op diet, and not to toot my own horn, but I think I nailed it. I started with some chicken stock and I added fresh ginger, shallots, and soy sauce for flavoring. And then for veggies, I added a ton of baby bok choy and some spiralized zucchini, and I topped it off with fried garlic and green onions. We have fresh duck eggs, and so I soft boiled and marinated one, which really adds that final touch that this soup needs to feel like a solid bowl of ramen. For the noodles, I went with tofu shirataki noodles, which are Japanese plant-based noodles. They have 0 calories, 0 carbs, and pretty much zero everything. So they're sometimes referred to as miracle noodles and are pretty friendly for almost every diet. They have a bit of a strange texture compared to actual noodles, so they're a little bouncier when you chew them, but essentially they have no flavor once you boil and drain them, and they did a really good job at making this feel much more like an actual bowl of ramen. Completely skipped over breakfast. I just had a cinnamon roll flavored Premier Protein, and it was delicious and super easy. For lunch, I whipped up some egg salad. I've been having a huge egg salad craving all week, and I'm not sure where that's coming from. But what I did was I hard boiled some eggs and put it together with a little bit of light mayonnaise. I added a little bit of Splenda and apple cider vinegar to try to mimic the pickles that I would usually put in this, but I'm not putting any sweet pickles in it, obviously. And then I just put them in romaine lettuce boats, and this was super satisfying and probably going to be a staple for me because I absolutely loved this.
Some pretty weird lighting because everything's getting dark lately, but here's my dinner tonight. I have made a really big ass salad. So what I've done is I've taken my tofu spring rolls that I make actually quite often. Those have a little bit of rice noodles and rice wrappers when I make the fresh rolls, and I can't have those. So I've made it into a salad. I put some firm tofu, actually I think it's extra firm tofu, into my air fryer. And so I've got some fried tofu,
A peanut sauce that I made with PB2. It's got some fresh garlic and ginger in it, as well as some soy sauce, sesame oil, just a few of the things I throw together a peanut sauce with. And then it's hard to see on this bed of lettuce, but there's also carrots and cucumbers. They're hiding in here. So I do have all the things that I would normally have with my spring rolls. So hopefully this tastes as good as it looks. I'm starving. I don't really even care anymore. I'm just going to eat it.